First of all, I'd like to welcome all of you to a new Grand Round series. About a year ago, President Carlos Pellegrini, President of the American College of Surgeons, asked me to participate as faculty in a leadership course that the American College of Surgeons always holds every year in Chicago, and gave me the topic of team effectiveness. And I started reading about team effectiveness and realized very soon that a prime example of team effectiveness surrounded myself every day in this very department. And so I'm here to go over the accomplishments of this department over the past 10 years. Accomplishments that all of us have done together, accomplishments that really reflect on this very efficient, effective, and superior team. And at the end, I'll draw some principles of what an effective team is and what are the characteristics of this of an effective team. And all really started in 2004, for me at least, when I arrived. And not knowing much about this department and the strengths of this department and where this department needed to go, we started what at that point was called the AIMS process. And through the work of 5 committees composed by Department of Surgery faculty, staff, representatives of the medical school, the hospital, residents, and medical students, we reassessed over the course of about 6 months the clinical, educational, and research programs of the department, the internal structure and organization, and the external competition. And this exercise ultimately produced a consensus on priorities and a blueprint for growth to which the department really has adhered over the past 10 years. As part of that exercise, we also crafted a mission statement for the Department of Surgery to provide superior state-of-the-art healthcare in a compassionate manner, to discover new knowledge to improve health, to preserve and communicate knowledge through education, and to nurture and sustain a community of surgeons and scholars. And this mission statement has really informed the decisions and the growth of the department in the past 10 years. And growth has occurred. In 2004, this department had a total of 33 full-time and part-time faculty. Now we are 61 as of 2014, with 52 clinical faculty and 9 research faculty. We also are joined by 131 voluntary faculty and 224 adjunct and affiliated faculty for a total of more than 400 faculty of this department. The growth in the number of faculty really helped us tremendously in expanding the clinical programs. As you know, we have extended the clinical programs to our other sites with general surgery, colorectal and vascular surgery at Lower Manhattan Hospital, with Ben Golas, with Dan Hunt and Eric Won, and the pediatric surgery services at Brooklyn, Lincoln, and Methodist Hospital with the recruitment of Sean Steigman and Dimitri Marianos. Also, this expansion in faculty has allowed many new programs developed. Jeff Milsom is the executive director of the Center for Advanced Digestive Care, and he's also the visionary supervisor of the minimal invasive new technology, the MINT program. Alphonse Pomp is the director of the GI metabolic and diabetes surgery program. Tom Fay recently has created a multidisciplinary endocrine oncology program. Mike Lieberman has been directing the pancreas program for now several years. Darren Schneider, the Center for Vascular and Endovascular Surgery. Raza Zarnigar has started a gastrointestinal motility laboratory, and his efforts have not gone unrecognized in terms of robotic surgery, with specific focus on foregut surgery. And Sandy Kapoor is a founding member of the National Kidney Registry, which promotes living donor kidney transplant chains as a way to address the scarcity of organs. And Rasha Simmons is the Department of Surgery director of the Office for Faculty Diversity. More surgeries, more faculties, more surgeries. As you can see, the surgical case volume has increased dramatically in the last 10 years. In 2004, and it is not on this chart, the number of cases done did not reach 6,000. Last year, we're almost at 10,000 cases, and this only counts cases done in this campus and done only by full-time and part-time faculty. Does not count cases done at Lower Manhattan Hospital or in the other hospitals where we have services. With that, the work hour view for the entire department have increased from 170,000 in fiscal year 05 to more than 300,000 in fiscal year 14. And although there are many more faculty, the RVU per faculty have also increased by 32% from an average of 63,000 to now an average of 6,300 to now an average of 8,300. So more work for everybody, more faculty, and a 40% overall surgical case volume increase. Not only the volume is increased, but the quality has been excellent. These Caterpillar graphs from the NSQIP are now come on site to you because they're frequently reviewed at the quarterly quality review. And they indicate the ratio between observed and expected complications or mortality. And in this particular case, this is a graph indicating the postoperative mortality for general surgery, vascular surgery, and colon rectal surgery combined. And our center has a ratio of 0.72, which means that the mortality would be expected to be 1. The actual mortality observed in our hands is 0.7%. Now, at this point, I really would like to thank the residents and the fellows for the outstanding care that they provide to our patients. I know that they're here to learn, but I also am very, very sure that without their supervision, without their commitment to patient care, we would not be able to deliver the outstanding quality care that we deliver every day in and out in this department and in this institution. Milestones and major accomplishments have also occurred during the past 10 years. The Division of Transplantation celebrated the 50th anniversary of the kidney transplant program. And you can see a picture there with Dr. Kapoor and Watkins and Kim and Dr. Stubenborg, the previous chief of the Division of Transplantation. Dr. Pomp and the GI Metabolic and Bariatric Group was accredited by the American College of Surgeons as a Level 1A Center of Excellence. Dr. Simmons was able to have the breast center accredited by the National Accreditation Program for Breast Centers of the American College of Surgeons, and the burn center headed by Dr. Yurt received verification by the American Burn Association and by the ACS as a center of excellence. And I'd like to remind all of you that the burn center was one of the first, if not the first, burn center founded in the United States in 1976 by the previous chair, Dr. Shires, and since then has treated more than 40,000, close to 50,000 burn victims, including the victims of 9/11. This is an incredible group of faculty and notable achievements. In the last 10 years only, need to be listed. This faculty of our department have held leadership positions in over 50 professional societies and have served on the editorial boards of at least 14 medical publications that I know, and presided over 13 different surgical societies listed here as therefore presidents of respective surgical societies. Congratulations to all. And the fact that this is a notable faculty has been noticed outside and inside the institution. It's no surprise that half of our clinical faculty are recognized as top doctors by Castle Connolly, a 220% increase over a similar metric used in 2006. And internally, Dr. Roger Yurt was recognized as the Maurice Greenberg Distinguished Awardee in May of 2014. Congratulations to Dr. Yurt. The department has also hosted national events. The 8th American College of Surgeons Quality National Forum, you can see here with Dr. Hoyt, the tallest of all, as the executive director of the American College of Surgeons, came to Weill Cornell, New York Presbyterian Hospital as one of the national quality forums. We had 2 congresses on interventional therapies in diabetes, and the 21st Annual World Burn Congress was held for the first time in New York City several years ago. And in the picture you can recognize Dr. Faries, Dr. Yurt, and the late William Green. And we have also outreached to outside of the United States with a global medicine outreach, thanks to the efforts of Jim Gallagher and Katrina Mitchell in Wa Bugando in Tanzania. And as a matter of fact, Katrina Mitchell, currently officially a faculty member of our department, is spending 1 year back in Tanzania to continue the work initiated several years ago with the formation of a new pediatric burn ICU. And over the past 10 years, thanks to the generosity of some of our supporters, our faculty has been recognized for their achievements with 3 additional named professorships. The first that came about was the Jerome DeCoste Professorship, given to Jeff Milsom. Recently, Todd Evans has become the first tenant of the Peter Pressman Professor of Surgery, made able and possible by a generous contribution of Dr. Peter Pressman and Mr. Alberto Crebiori, here pictured in the right lower quadrant. And Dr. Bessie became the first Aronson Family Foundation professor in burn surgery, thanks to the generosity of the Aronson family foundation and the ties that they had with Dr. Yurt. Switching gears to the educational programs, this department has a very vast educational program. Obviously, we see all the medical students throughout the years. During the third year, the medical student passed through all 101 of them. We have 3 residencies in general surgery, oral and maxillosurgery and dentistry, plastic and reconstructive surgery. And we do have now 6 fellowships in burn surgery, in colon and rectal surgery, complex GI surgery, critical care, endocrine and vascular surgery. In total, we have 134 residents and fellows. Let me spend a few minutes talking about first the medical student clerkship with the leadership by Dr. Dakin, who is the clerkship director, helped by Dr. Kelly Garrett as associate clerkship director. And recently, 2 new appointments, Dimitri Mirianos as the director of the boot camp program, and Sean Steigman as the director of the area of concentration program. We have gone over the past 12 months, we have revisited the curriculum that we provide to the medical students. And we have created a white paper entitled Matriculation to Graduation Program, whereby we have and offer programs and activities in surgery in each of the 4 years to medical students interested in surgery. It starts with the first year, where during the summer we have now a SAIL teaching series of 6 to 8 evenings where we teach the basics of surgery, from knot tying to putting the initial stitches and other technical aspects. The first year and second year are very very important and exciting program is the pre-op program, where 10 medical students are selected to shadow faculty members for a year. As part of the new curriculum of the medical school, we do have an area of concentration in surgery which starts at the first year, and as I mentioned before, it is under the leadership of Sean Steigman. The Stimson Society is the interest group in general surgery, which has been always a major supporter of students interested in surgery. And to anyone who is interested in a career in surgery, the Department of Surgery offers membership in the American College of Surgery. Second year, we do have another sales spring course. The third year, obviously, is the surgery clerkship and the additional sales skills courses. And in the fourth year, we host Cornell, the sub-internships. We also host a surgical boot camp after matriculation, after graduation, after matching in mid-March. We have a boot camp of several weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, to prepare medical students who matched in general surgery or surgical specialties for their internship. And as the fourth year comes about, the area of concentration in surgery is defined and completed. We also would like to recognize the important contribution from the Weill Cornell Medical College campus in Qatar, under the incredible leadership of Dr. Bakar Noor here represented. Our Qatar students are well instructed and well taught, and they come to us for the fourth year clerkship and sub-internship after having spent their third year at the Hamad Corporation Hospital and in the future at the Sidra Hospital, which is being built. The general surgery program, I think, is another jewel in the crown of our educational programs, led for many, many years in an impeccable way by Dr. Fay, here represented and here depicted, helped by Soumya Chempati as an associate program director and Govind Nanda Kumar as an assistant program director, with two new recent appointments, Dr. Watkins as assistant program director of simulation training, and Tris Yenmu as an assistant program director of mentoring and curriculum. The general surgery program, I think, has become stronger and stronger over the past few years with very educational M&Ms, a good Grand Round series, great name lecture and visiting professors. I was counting over the summer that we already have had some 4 presidents of the American College of Surgeons and several presidents of the American Surgical Association as name lecture professors. The mandatory clinical conference, the basic science conference, and the rotation conferences are all important backbone of our general surgery program, educational programs. Recently, we have identified the faculty leaders at every site and every rotation. And the duties of the faculty leaders are to update the goals and objectives of each rotation, make sure that the evaluations are provided, monitoring duty hours, lecture schedule, and academic and service issues, and provide feedback to the program evaluation committee. And the result of all this is that we have had a site visit in March 2014, and the general surgery program has been accredited for no less than 10 years until 2024. Kudos to Dr. Fay and all the other faculty members involved in the general surgery program, as well as, you'll see later on, the incredible educational office team that supports all these programs. The fellowship programs are doing equally well. The dentistry and oral maxillofacial surgery fellowship was recently site visited and obtained a 6-year maximum accreditation in both programs. The colon and rectal fellowship, the next site visit is in fall 2020. The vascular fellowship next site visit is also in the fall of 2020. These very long cycles between site visits indicate the strength of each one of these fellowships and the perceived strength, obviously, by the RC. We're coming up on a few site visits, a plastic surgery site visit this week, critical care visit in October, and the first site visit for the advanced GI MIS fellowship probably in November. And we wish all this fellowship luck and a great success in their site visits. As part of the implementation of an increased focus on education, we have created an Academy of Educators and the Department of Surgery. And the educators are the faculty with recognized roles in educational programs beside and beyond the bedside education or the intraoperative teaching. These individuals have major focus on teaching medical students, residents, and fellows, and contribute to the development of educational programs, sales modules, etc., and foster a positive teacher-learner environment. The sale was opened in September, a year ago. This is SAIL stands for Skills Acquisition and Innovation Laboratory. It's a 3,000 square feet facility dedicated to simulation, to training, to research, and to instruction in the use of new devices. It is under the leadership from the Department of Surgery of Anthony Watkins, as well as Jay Rosenberg as the operations manager. And it is a facility that is in partnership 50-50 with the Department of Anesthesia. And the initial goals have already been achieved of establishing sessions for medical students and residents through modules and the ability to teach FLS, build a surgical video library. Ish is in the process of, and Dr. Watkins are in the process of creating an in-house surgical video library, and developed research in simulation. As I said, none of this would be possible without the contribution of our education office staff, led by David Felling, who really have brought clarity and focus and stimulus on all our educational programs. Another great team is the research team, led by Todd Evans, who joined our department in 2009 as a professor of surgery and a vice chairman for research. Currently has 4 basic science laboratories with Shubin Cheng, with Todd Evans, Yari Houvres, and Marco Sandel, and 3 translational science laboratories, Dr. Fay's laboratory, Spector, and Zarnegar. And in 4 years, this team has recruited more than 50 researchers, PhD fellows, students, surgery residents, PhD MDs, PhD MDs, and technicians, with the vision to bring together the basic sciences and the surgeons and the physicians and the basic scientists into consortia with the goal of translational research. And indeed, several translational research consortia have been started. Probably these 4 are probably the most tangible. The Carcinoid Biology Consortium by Dr. Fay, Sandel, Evans, Chen, and Houvres, supported by a generous gift from the Raymond and Beverly Sackler Foundation. The Pancreatic Cancer Stem Cell Consortia, the C's, Dr. Lieberman, myself, Chen, Houvres, and Evans working together, and a couple of others that transcend our own department. Early in the decade, we had, if you remember, started collaborations with Ithaca. In November 2006, we had the first retreat in New York. We then went to Ithaca a couple of times. And out of this collaboration, several projects have have stemmed, and probably the one that has been recognized as probably more widely is the collaboration between Jason Spector and Bonassar on the 3D printing of external ears as a way to address neonates without external ears or with malformed external ears, or adults after trauma to the ears. Clinical research is also well and alive. In this department, practically every division has a robust clinical research, from Meredith Hall in the Division of Transplantation, coordinating all the clinical trials in immunotherapy after kidney transplant. Darren Schneider has brought great clinical research projects to our department. And probably the one that is the most exciting is the IDE branched graft trial that is currently running. Koyana has been an incredible supporter of all clinical research programs in the section of colorectal surgery, and should also obviously mention the section of breast surgery with very innovative clinical research. Dr. Pomp is the PI on an NIH-funded labs program, a longitudinal study of bariatric surgical patients, and Dr. Berry continues to do outstanding research in antibiotics and sepsis. And finally, there is a growth in device ideation and research, most of it under the umbrella of MINT, with Jeff Milsom and his group working on new devices for endoluminal surgery, and Darren Schneider working on new vascular grafts made from spider silk and new endovascular devices to treat brain aneurysms. All this energy and all this research, all this volume of research has translated in an increase in awards that we receive. Last year, 2013, 2014, we received close to $8.5 million in awards, of which 6.5 were direct cost. And of this 6.5, almost 4 were NIH based. $4 million in NIH based has put us now number 22 in the nation among the departments of surgery. I'd like to point out to you that in 2009, when Dr. Evans was recruited, we were 71 out of 80 departments of surgery in terms of receiving NIH grants. And over the years, you see the progression to 22. I checked last night whether the latest numbers for 2014 are available. They are not yet. And I certainly hope that they will break the ceilings of the 20th and be in the first 20 departments of surgery nationally in terms of NIH awards. What that means is that since we also have not too much space, we barely have 10,000 square feet of space, we're the 5th highest department in terms of efficiency of NIH grants per square foot. And if you divide, therefore, how much NIH awards you receive by the size of the laboratories where the research is being conducted, it turns out that our department is close to $400 per square foot, which puts us as number 5th in the nation. And within the Weill Cornell Medical College, if you create a graph that you compare yourself to your peers in the nation, we are in number 4th position, tied with anesthesiology in being 22nd in the nation. Where only neurology, genetics, and physiology have better placement in the nation that we have. It's probably appropriate, more than appropriate, to recognize that none of this could really be done without a very strong administrative team. And here you see, led by Tony Trimarchi, with Marie Piraglia as the COO of our department, and India Long as the Chief Financial Officer of the department, and then all the others, really, Bernardo, all the coders, all the sections and divisions administrators that really support our work on a daily basis. Obviously, an administrative team, the first task is always to look at billing and revenue to make sure that the cycle is appropriate and the cycle does not, it works to the possible best. Indeed, this team that was, as I said, has been led by Mr. Trimarchi for the last few years, last 5 years, really under his leadership, really took on immediately the standardization of policies and procedures, the optimization of EPIC workflows, and the improved charge capture methodologies by reducing the posting lag time, the reconciliation between the OR and the endoscopy suites schedules with our billing, as well as the reconciliation with the faculty and case logs, and have instituted regular meetings with faculty to review the AR. All this has brought great improvement in the billing performance of the department, with the rejection type, the rejections really decreasing to single numbers, 1 to 2%, with the charge post and lag decreasing from an average of 26 days to 9 to 11 days, depending if you're talking about ambulatory or inpatient charges. And our goal is to get down to 6 days. And what all this has produced is an increase in the net collection rate from 90% to 96%. Now, this is important because if you increase the collection rate, match collection rate from 90% to 96%, you're extracting more money out of all the contracts and out of all you do every day in terms of your activities. And this is demonstrated by these two graphs, because if you notice, the work RVUs from 2009 to 2014 have increased from 200 and probably 20,000 to almost 300,000, probably an increase of about 40%. And if you look at the payments from 2009 to 2015 have increased by 100%, by more than 40%, 60, 70%. Therefore, synergizing not only the amount of increased work that all of us and all of you are doing, but also the better billing cycle, billing revenue cycle that extracts more of what is due to us from all claims. And if you add to the clinical revenue, the research revenue, you see the total revenue of the department year by year, with the white columns being the revenue and the red columns being the expenses. And with the exception of the very first year, where the department did not fare particularly well, since then the revenue has always been the same or higher than the expenses, adding to our reserves for rainy days. Now, the administrative team has been also busy with other things. There's been a huge amount of academic and clinic space renovation. Star 8 was renovated. The K8 corridor for colorectal was renovated. The SAIL was renovated. Payson 7 was renovated. And renovations occurred also outside of these buildings here. The breast center, as well as down at William Street for the Lower Manhattan Hospital. And renovation also occurred for our research space, 10,000 square feet in 3 different locations. Now, all this good news are routinely broadcast by Karen Zippern, our Director of Communications. I owe Karen a great debt of gratitude. She was working with me yesterday until last night at 11 o'clock, sending me pictures and notes and things for these grand rounds. Karen produced the first report of the Department of Surgery, 2004-2007, entitled Time of Transformation, which was distributed to some 5,000 physicians and donors. And now she produces on a quarterly basis a electronic newsletter that is distributed to 4,000 subscribers, colleagues, referring physicians, alumni, donors, residents, surgical faculty, and staff. And at this point, I would be remiss if I were not to recognize the chairman office team with Patty, with Flor, and Anita. They're really the backbone of the chairman's office. And whether it is the holiday party, the graduation party, the Ben Park dinner, the golf outing, or some social activity, social faculty activity that occurs during the year, it is because of the incredible work and incredible attention to detail of Patty, Flor, Anita, and Karen. So thank you very much. Now, what are the future initiatives? What are we facing now? What do we want to go from here? Ben Golas came back to us a year ago, and he really has done a fantastic job in the hepatobiliary surgery. He was telling me that probably by now, in the first 12 months, he's close to 50 liver resections, and I know that these numbers will grow tremendously with these outreach efforts to the community. We started a liver transplant program in 2011 with Dr. Shirky, who then, for family reasons, returned to France a year and a half later. And I think that it is absolutely essential that very soon we start a liver transplant program again on this campus. I'm pleased that the hospital has made so far the informal decision, is thinking of going for trauma level 1 adult and trauma level 2 pediatrics American cardiac surgery designation. And this will really refocus our attention on trauma and critical care and acute care. And as of the end of this month, we'll expand the pediatric surgical services to New York Hospital in Queens, and this will demand and require the recruitment of a 4th faculty member in pediatric surgery. We are strengthening more and more day by day our presence, our clinical presence at Lower Manhattan Hospital. Not only Ben is there, and Dan Hunt and Eric Won, who have been there now since last year. James Smith, as I mentioned, has joined us, and part of his practice is Lower Manhattan Hospital. And Melanie Onchkin, she'll join us the 1st of October, and will start her part of a practice down at Lower Manhattan Hospital as well. I think that this group of 5 individuals will do a fantastic job in general surgery, surgical oncology, colorectal surgery, vascular surgery, and will cover the entire waterfront. We're also very interested by the Burn Eye Unit project that Jim Gallagher is conducting. The Burn team won a hospital-wide competition from NYP for a proposed eye unit initiative, which will use the latest technology to improve care. I think that this will be a transformative exercise which may eventually trickle also to all the other intensive care units and potentially to the step-down units and the floor. We're in discussions to start a center for comparative analysis and clinical outcome research to facilitate the interdepartmental collaboration for, again, comparative analysis and clinical outcome research. And I've asked Heather Yo and Andrew Meltzer to co-direct this center. An important meeting will occur at the end of this month to try to create this center in collaboration with other departments. The administrative team will continue to be very focused on optimizing the EPIC workflow, on real estate renovations on the F7 corridor and on the F8 corridor to create new office space. We're in the midst of enhancing and optimizing the phone system to better handle the high call volume and improve the patient access, and definitely they'll continue to work on further refinement of the revenue cycle. So what have they been the critical components of success? What have they been over the past 10 years? I think that without any question, this success could have not been possible without the support from the Weill Cornell Medical College, Dean Gatto initially, and Dean Glincher now, and without the support from NYP leadership, Dr. Pardis in the past, Dr. Corin now, together with Dr. Kelly, Dr. Faris, Dr. Leibowitz, Dr. Patterson. I also think that the consensus building and the blueprint for growth that the AIMS process produced was essential in starting this decade of achievements, as well as the guiding principles summarized by the mission statement. But there is no question in my mind that we are blessed with an outstanding, effective faculty and staff team. Efficiency is the foundation for survival. Effectiveness is the foundation for success. This is what John Maxwell said, and John Maxwell was really a scholar of team effectiveness. And what are the characteristics of an effective team? And if you're interested in knowing more about that, I suggest that you read this book. It's about 150 pages, doesn't take much. It's the Harvard Business Review on building better teams. And just to summarize very briefly, the characteristics that this review points to in terms of creating effective teams are cooperation, trust among members, appreciation of diversity of talents and value individual perspective, commitment to goals and to best practices, sense of group identity and group efficacy, the ability to confront disruptive behavior, and the ability to care for each team member. These are the essential components of an effective team, and I think that this department really personalizes these characteristics to a T, and that's why this department has been such an effective team over the past 10 years. So let me raise a virtual glass to the Department of Surgery, to all of us, to this incredible, effective, efficient, and superior team for the achievements of the past 10 years with great hopes and anticipation for the achievements of the future. Thank you very much for your attention.